Hello, Pastor Bill here. I have made some changes to our sanctuary. I've rearranged the seating. This video is going to show how the usher in the center aisle and the ushers on the two end aisles will now do their job. There's a reason why I've rearranged the seating. Let me explain the changes we've made. Previously, we had very long rows on each side of the sanctuary, and typically people want to sit on the ends. They don't want to be blocked in by a bunch of other people, and so we ended up with some very large gaps in our large rows, and so we've reset the sanctuary so that we have more end seats and less, hopefully, gaps in between the ends. The problem with this is that we now have to reset how the ushers pass out communion and receive the offering. I believe that we can do this job with just 3 ushers, 1 for each of the aisles. So if you're receiving the offering or the communion, you are going to, when I call for the ushers to come forward, if you're going to be either the usher on the right aisle or the usher on the left aisle, you're going to come up, and if you're the usher on the left aisle, you're going to stand by the front row on the left side of the center aisle. If you're the usher that's doing the right aisle, you're going to come up in the center aisle and you're going to stand by the front row on the right side of the aisle. If you're the usher that's going to do the center row, we only need 1 usher to do this center row. If you're going to be that usher, you're going to stand by the second row in the center of the center aisle. You will then be the person that receives the plate or the bag on this side and passes it to the row behind, or receives it on this side and passes it to the row behind. This usher that does the center aisle can pass it behind, receive it and pass it behind, receive it and pass it behind, receive it and pass it behind on both sides of the aisle. It's not really complicated. When it comes back to you, just pass it to the one behind. If you're on one of these 2 front rows, you're going to be working on the left side of the sanctuary or the right side of the sanctuary. You got a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more complicated job. So if we're receiving communion, when it's time for you to step forward, you'll step forward and you'll receive the communion plate. If we're taking offering, you'll have the offering bag already and you'll already be standing here, but you'll receive the communion plate or the offering. The rest of this is the same, whether it's communion or offering. You'll turn around and you won't give it to them, but you'll allow them to receive communion or give their offering, and you'll carry the plate or the bag down the row. When you get to the aisle on the left-hand side of the sanctuary, you'll cross the aisle and you'll do the next first row. You'll carry it down through, you'll allow them to receive communion or give their offering. You'll go to the second row and you will hand it to them. They will then pass it down the second row. This row is extra wide for the fire escape. So when you hand it to this row, you're going to walk down this row. You're going to receive it on this side, and then you're going to walk back down this aisle, and you're going to hand it to this row. You don't need them to pass it on this row. You can just walk down there. They can give their offering or receive their communion. So now you've done 3 rows on the edge. You come back to the center. It's the second row now. It's actually across the aisle from you. You'll hand it to them. They'll pass it down through. That third usher that's been standing in the center aisle is waiting for you to get the bag or the plate to them. You're going to pass it down through. They're going to receive it in that center aisle. They're going to pass it to the next aisle back, and you're going to receive it on this side. When you receive it on this side, you're going to turn around. These seats against the wall are all staggered, so you can reach almost halfway down the aisle. So if you step up to this row, you can extend your hand out, and they can receive communion or give their offering, and you can receive from everybody. Each time you do this, after receiving it back from this center section, you're going to do 2 end aisles. So you do this aisle, you step here, you do this aisle, you turn around, across from this aisle is where it's going back. You pass it down through here, that center usher is going to grab it, they're going to pass it back through this one, you receive it here, turn around. You're going to do this next one. You pass it out, pass out the communion, receive the offering, step to the next one, do the same thing, extend your arm out, receive the offering, give the communion, turn directly around. Now you're in the second to last row. You're going to hand it to them. They're going to pass it down through. That third usher that's in the center aisle, that's working the center aisle, is going to receive it on that end. They're going to bring it to this end of the last aisle. They're going to pass it down through to you. You're going to receive it. You started with the communion plate, you started with the offering bag, and you're ending with it. From here, you're going to walk to the center, and you're going to wait for that usher to be done. If they're already done, you're both in the center now. If you received offering, you're going to head out and take care of the offering the way you always have. If it was communion that was being passed out, now that you're together, you're going to walk down the center aisle, and you're going to turn in the communion plate. I think with this new style, we can get the job done with just 3 ushers, and I think we can get it done well. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you who steps forward to serve each week, and I look forward to continuing to work with you all. God bless.